Welcome to International Dairy Week's podcast, Around the Barn. We are so excited to be back for season 2. Hello, I'm your host, Casey Treloar, and this is the online space where those in the Australian dairy industry can connect with each other, as well as those right around the world in the lead up to Australia's premier dairy show in January. Through video and audio, this is the exclusive one-stop shop where you can catch up with our exhibitors, judges, sponsors and fans from across the globe to talk all things cows, technology and showing down under.
Dairy farmers. Increase fertility, improve calving, increase profits. Sounds easy, doesn't it? It can be. Protected B vitamins may be the solution for your herd. Jeffo's protected blend of B vitamins for transition and lactation are both designed and blended using Jeffo's Matrix technology to deliver the B vitamins to where the cow needs them. This concept has been successfully used throughout Australia and the dairy world. Top farms like Comstar, Gillette Farm, Brindabella Holstein, and recently in a trial at the McAllister Research Farm have proven the success of the Jeffo solutions. Improve milk production, decrease health issues at calving, and improve 6-week in-calf rate are just some of the benefits you will see. Contact the Jeffo Dairy team today and build a Jeffo solution plan for your herd. The team look forward to seeing you at International Dairy Week 2023. Jeffo, life made easier.
Well, we're super excited to now have on the podcast Lachlan Fry, all the way from Western Australia, from Katandra Park. And we are super excited to announce and introduce Lachlan as our Ayrshire judge for International Dairy Week in 2023. Lachlan, welcome to the podcast. Look, what was that moment like to get that phone call to be announced as our judge?
Yeah, thanks, Casey, for the introduction, and also thank you to Declan. Certainly it was just a great privilege and honour to be asked to judge the Ayrshires at International Dairy Week in 2023. As a young judge coming through, it's just such a great privilege to be recognised and get out there and, judge the Ayrshires. And, the Ayrshire breeders, they're a wonderful bunch of people and there's some wonderful cows in the breed. And, just roll on January. Really looking forward to it.
Now, Lockie, for people that may not be familiar with yourself or the farm, give us a little bit of a rundown, a bit of a history of yourself and Katandra Park as well.
Certainly, sure. Yeah, so my brother and I are fourth generation dairy farmers on both sides of our pedigrees, actually, on both our mother and father's side. So you could say it's in our blood. We farm in a town called Brunswick Junction, which is about 2 hours south of Perth in the southwest corner of Western Australia. So the majority of the dairies of the dairy farms are in that southwest corner. We milk a herd of Holsteins and Jerseys. It's about a 50-50 split, all stud cows, and we lease the farm that we're on. So just going back a little bit, pre that, we milked about 400 cows on the family farm, but have since sold that and come back on a smaller scale on a lease farm. So it's just great place. We often refer to it as God's country. Great place to milk cows and grow grass, and
Lachlan, you mentioned the opportunity that you're about to have to be able to judge the Ayrshires at International Dairy Week, but you're no stranger to judging some shows. Take us through your background and where you've been and some of the cows you've seen.
Sure. Yeah, I've had the great privilege of judging cows across all breeds in every state in Australia, and it's led to some wonderful networks and friendships, and the people that you meet along the way has been such a highlight, not only of us saw and judge some great cows, but the people, and you can rock up to any state in Australia and know that you'll know someone, and that's been a highlight. Probably the most recent highlight for me was last year's Sydney Royal Easter Show, having the opportunity to judge just an amazing quality Jersey show. Obviously, we had to juggle COVID at the time, and just got lucky to be able to get out of the state and travel and judge that show. And yeah, it was such a privilege. So
unreal.
And I must say, Lockie, I was there at the Sydney show last year and got to see you in action, and we certainly thought you did an amazing job, and we're excited to have you a part of the judging the Ayrshires and standing in the middle of the ring at IDW. Obviously, you may be our youngest judge, and so how do you feel about that, being a young and up and coming judge and getting an opportunity on the big stage at Dairy Week?
Oh yeah, once again, it's just a great privilege and honour, and I think one of the things I really enjoyed, and going back to the year 2015, was getting an opportunity to judge at the Victorian Winter Fair as an associate judge. And I commend the committee there for, starting that process of getting the associate judges in. And, you look back and just recently one of the associate judges, ended up going and judging that big show. So I think it's great that young Aussies, there's plenty of great young judges, male and female, and to be able to get that opportunity to go out and judge these cows, on the world stage is just a huge honour and privilege. And I'm just delighted to get that opportunity. So,
absolutely. And look, Lockie, Australian Ayrshires and in particular the Ayrshires that tend to grace the ring at International Dairy Week each year are known around the world as some of the best. They quite often show up in the all-world photographic competitions as being the best Ayrshire or the best, cows of their breed right around the world. How have you seen, I guess, the Ayrshire breed evolve, or what do you appreciate about the breed?
Sure. Yeah, I think you only have to look back a couple of years ago to the World Conference show, and I don't think it matters what breed of cows you breed or milk to appreciate the quality of that show. And to see what the exhibitors brought out was just amazing. And I've got no doubt that, it'll certainly be the same next year at Dairy Week. There's some wonderful cows in the Ayrshire breed, and was actually fortunate to be a little bit involved with a couple of Ayrshire cows back home in WA. There was a well-known Holstein breeder that had a little bit of a dabble in Ayrshires and played around with one of the premier cow families in the breed being the Bangles family. And obviously, the Bangles cow there won champion cow a couple of years ago. So, yeah, I've always appreciated them. And, a good dairy cow is a good dairy cow. I don't think it matters what her colour, what her breed. And that's my philosophy on dairy cows. So.
Now, Lockie, just run us through a little bit about the dairy industry in WA at the moment. So obviously you're across the Nullarbor there, and sort of give an update and sort of inform everyone about what the dairy industry is currently like over in WA. A bit of an overview would be great.
Sure. Yeah. So currently there's approximately 130 dairy farms in Western Australia. They're located in the southwest corner. So south of Perth, all around along the coast to Albany. Total milk production is around 340 million litres. So in terms of the whole of Australia, it's only a small percentage, but there's certainly some great farms and great operators and some really good breeders as well. So the state of the industry at the moment, it's positive. Obviously, we've seen a bit of a correction in the supply and demand of milk, and that's not only in WA, but in across the board of Australia. And the challenge now, I think, for not only WA, but, the whole industry is to make sure we can keep those young ones coming through, link up those older farmers with new people and new entrants and, really ride the boom of agriculture because, I think there's no doubt about it. It's a great industry to be a part of, and I certainly wouldn't want to be doing anything else. So yeah.
And Lockie, I've certainly seen, I guess, that side of the development of youth. Not just the dairy side, but also the beef side in Western Australia with that amazing camp that you guys run over there. I mean, you work a fair bit behind the scenes with that camp. Can you take us through, what that camp's all about and maybe why you think it's so successful in encouraging the youth to become a part of those industries over in Western Australia?
Sure, yeah. So the WA Youth Camp was developed probably about close to 20 years ago, and it's probably one of the only camps that runs a dairy and beef section combined. And obviously with our limited resources and numbers, it's ideal to do that. But it's a great camp. We've had a lot of people from the east come over and really enjoy their time. And obviously, yourself, Casey, you've come over and been one of the over judges. And I think it's really what it's all about. If we're not encouraging the next generation, well, what are we doing? Otherwise there's going to be no one coming through. So just really passionate about that side of things. And there's some great youth camps and programs right around the country, and we're just doing our part in Western Australia. So yeah.
Now, fantastic. Now, Lockie, obviously, unfortunately, due to COVID, you couldn't attend International Dairy Week this year, and like many others around the country, we had exhibitor numbers down in states like South Australia and New South Wales just with the COVID protocols. So, what do you think about Dairy Week 2023 and how exciting it may be to sort of bring everyone back together and catch up with old friends? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it certainly was disappointing not to be able to get over there last year. Obviously, border restrictions, and I'm sure a lot of the folk, they're listening internationally were the same. That they would have really missed out. But commend you guys and the team behind the scenes doing all the live streaming. It was just fantastic to be able to be at home and watch the show online. It really did feel like you were right there. So credit to your team for doing that. Like some of the people that I see at Dairy Week, you only see them once a year. So, to not seeing some of those people for a couple of years, it's going to be fantastic just to get back and, just have a beer and, have a chat and see how everyone's going. And, the industry's in a lot better place at the moment. We've had some rain and, just really looking forward to coming over and being a part of the week. So yeah.
Lockie, you've obviously had a lot of involvement in youth, and I guess you yourself growing up in the industry and now sort of helping others gain those skills and find opportunities. What's your advice to young ones maybe having similar goals and dreams to yourself when you were younger in wanting to be able to go to the big shows and maybe learn to become a judge as well?
Yeah, I think surrounding yourself with good people is first and foremost. And, you don't have to know everything to start with, but going in and finding those people. And there's so many people in this industry that are more than happy to, to give you some advice or some tips or pointers. And for me, that's what I've done. I've just gone around and, ask questions and, form those networks. And that's probably the biggest advice I'd give. Just get out there and have a go. And it doesn't all happen straight away. It takes time, but that's the journey. Life's a journey, isn't it? So yeah, that's probably the best advice I could give. So yeah.
Fantastic.
And Lachlan, speaking of borders, I mean, over the years, you certainly haven't let borders restrict you in any way. You may be from one of the probably the furthest dairy regions from the bulk of dairy dairy farms in the country, but you still, make the effort to be able to show your cattle not just in your home state. Take us through that. Yeah,
obviously, it's a long way between the eastern states and Western Australia, and there's that big thing called the Nullarbor in the middle. Believe me, it's a long drive of not much, but I guess that's probably steered me more to judging. I guess with the limited amount of shows we do have, and we still like to exhibit our local shows. That they're not huge shows, but there's a lot of enthusiasm and the group of breeders that make the effort and do it really enjoy it. So. Look, to be honest, a lot of many times holidays have been judging gigs or on-farm challenges or, different things like that. But yeah, look, it's just the way it is, and West Australia is a great place to live and farm. So why not? It's only a 3-hour plane ride to get to Victoria and the other states and be a part of the action. So at the end of the day, the majority of the dairy industry is on the eastern seaboard. So you need to be a part of it. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Lockie, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today around the barn. It's been an absolute honour and privilege, and we can't wait to have you standing in the middle of the ring at International Dairy Week. Brad and I and the whole team at International Dairy Week are a great supporter of youth, just like yourself. And we can't wait. And, all the Ayrshire breeders are on board to see you judging the show. And we just absolutely can't wait for you to join us. So thanks so much for your time, and appreciate it.
No worries, Declan. Thank you very much. And very much looking forward to January and seeing some awesome cows. So thank you once again. Cheers.
We'll see you there.
Well, welcome to today's Round the Barn episode. We're very privileged and honoured to have two gentlemen here from Jeffo. Jeffo's been a great supporter of International Dairy Week and been involved as a sponsor since 2008. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for jumping on the podcast. We have Wayne Bradshaw, who is the Sales and Marketing Director for Jeffo Australia. Welcome, Wayne. Do you want to give the viewers a little bit of an introduction and what your role is in the company?
Thanks very much, Declan. It's great to be back with you on Around the Barn. Such a great avenue to promote the industry. Jeffo as a company sells micro matrix technology, so allows in the dairy cattle to have a rumen bypass effect with solutions in the nutritional area. My role here is I started the company in 2005 in Australia, so became a shareholder and managing director of the business, and so the sales and managing director here, and the company is now 18 years old in this part of the world.
And
Fantastic.
Also joining us, we have Dr. Abdullah Zankar, joining us all the way from Canada, which is super exciting. Abdullah, take us through, I guess, your role with the company and where you're at.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy being with you today, and I'm Abdullah Zankar. I work at the company today as a VP of Sales, but I'm a veterinarian, and of course, I did a lot of work on the dairy side, on the cow side, and in the Middle East in the past, and of course, after that, I did many occasions to Australia. We visited many farms in Australia, and I was very happy seeing a lot of opportunities and a lot of also advanced industry in Australia. The same I did many occasions to most of the countries in the Southeast Asia, China, different countries in the world. Today my role is a VP of Sales, but of course I'm still engaged with a lot of I would say dairy business all over the world with the company.
So Abdullah, with your background as a veterinarian, why are B vitamins so important for dairy cows?
Yeah, very good question. Thank you. So actually, as we learned in the past in the school, that the old theory was showing that B vitamins, 100 years ago, B vitamins are not very important for cows. Important for cows and not very important to feed them to cows, because cows can make them. The bugs in the rumen can make these B vitamins, and there's a sufficiency of synthesis of these B vitamins. So accordingly, the situation stayed like this until 20, 30 years ago, once people start to talk about B vitamins and the importance. Why this happened? Because today the cow has changed. Today we have athlete cows. They produce a lot of milk, and we ask them to produce milk, and we ask them to be pregnant on time, and we ask them to calve on time. So all these challenges and stress on animals show that there is high stress, and this have challenged also not just the animals, have challenged the the bugs in the rumen to produce and synthesize more vitamins. So accordingly, the theory also saying that there's bugs that they produce B vitamins, and there's bugs that they consume B vitamins. Okay, so they work together. So accordingly, nobody until today knows how much the bugs, the microflora in the rumen, they produce these vitamins or nutrients, and how much they consume. So this is why veterinarians like me and producers all over the world, and I have met with many of them in the last, I would say, 25 years. And most of them, they inject B vitamins and they see results. I mean, they inject and they see results. So accordingly, if we see results on B vitamins, it means these cows are deficient on B vitamins, and these cows, they are not synthesizing enough B vitamins. Okay, so accordingly, we see that there's importance behind B vitamins. Jeffo started to work on this 25 years ago, and there was an idea of protecting B vitamins, and it was a crazy idea for Mr. Fontaine, the owner of Jeffo. Everybody was in Quebec, Canada, the French part. Everybody was saying that this guy is crazy. He's producing B vitamins for cows, and cows, they don't eat. Okay, so accordingly, we have seen results on injecting cows, B vitamins. But the problem with injecting is that these B vitamins are water soluble. So they are fastly degraded, and they are fastly leaving the cows, or leaving the cows with a pee. So they go outside. I mean, they are extracted from the cows. So accordingly, we because of the spike of B vitamins cannot be high, so, and the degradation level is high, we start to think why we don't protect these B vitamins, why we don't make them in prills protected, and if there's possibility to bypass the rumen and make these vitamins absorbed perfectly by these milks.
Now that's a great point, and very interesting facts. Now tell us a little bit about the Jeffo Matrix technology, and how does that assist with the cow? And can you run us through a little bit of that, and how that's an important part of Jeffo's product range?
Yeah, for sure. So, as I said, like 25 years ago, Mr. Fontaine, Jean Fontaine, started to work on how we can protect these B vitamins if they are important, and we know that they are important. How we can protect these B vitamins, and can we make like a protection that can compete with injections? Because if we can continue doing injections, and it could be I don't think it's an easier procedure, because injection is not, it's one from one side is like you are injecting cows, you are gathering cows, you are against the animal welfare from one side, and from other side, the cows are not benefiting completely from these injections. So this is why the idea is to protect and to compete with injections. Okay, so the Jeffo Matrix technology is a technology where it's very easy technology, and it's very, impossible technology. So we have to look at these two sides. So sometimes, okay, it's nothing. I mean, you just protect these vitamins with a prill of fat and everything is good. No, it's not right, because we manage these prills. We can manage these prills accordingly. So we know that the intestine of the animals we're talking about the cows now. It's a long intestine, a long one. So accordingly, we have to get these prills in the intestine first of all, and we have to get them absorbed gradually, so the cows can benefit from the whole prill when we feed it for cows. So the benefits behind the Jeffo Matrix technology, two things. Number one is we are still feeding the bugs, so we protect the product around 80%. 20% goes for the bugs, because we know that the bugs need it when they are under stress. They need the B vitamins, and we bypass around 80% where it goes and it's beneficial for the cows. It's absorbed by the cows. The main target from these B vitamins is the liver. because the liver has enzymes that have to be activated. And these vitamins, they are absorbed and they are targeted, the enzymes, as enzyme cofactors, because B vitamins are famous as enzyme cofactors. So they activate enzymes responsible for gluconeogenesis, responsible for protein synthesis, and responsible for fat oxidation. All these processes happening in the liver, it's important that we have nutrients that can activate the enzymes responsible for these activities. So if we can deliver a prill in different sizes that can be absorbed in the intestine in different parts of the intestine, this was the main target behind the technology. Okay.
So, Wayne, here in Australia, have there been trials specifically conducted on dairy farms here based on the Jeffo solutions?
Absolutely, Casey. We've had the product working here now for over 12 years, going into a number of different farms, different conditions, because the Australian way of feeding is slightly different to the straight TMR systems throughout the world. And so our pasture-based systems here. So we just recently completed a trial down at East Gippsland, 360 cows down there. And we used both of the Jeffo solutions. We have one for lactation and one for transition. So we're able to feed it through a whole 12-month period through all sections of the cow's life cycle, and saw some great results with Mahesh and the team down there at the McAllister demonstration farm.
And what did you see? Sorry, Wayne, I was just saying. So, and what did you see as the main benefits of that trial, and what were the take-home messages from the trial down there in East Gippsland?
Thanks, Declan. The 360 cows, both solutions are being used, as I said. So therefore, the transition solution used 21 days pre-calving, and we started measuring factors like dry matter intake, BHB levels when the cows are fresh. And really importantly, of course, milk production and quality, but then really importantly, the reproduction performance. So trying to reduce those empty days and getting the cow back into calf. So by looking at those numbers, we had a reduction in BHB levels of around the 18%. So less in that area. And just to explain, the cows were just split into two, fed on the same pastures, but just fed differently when they went into the bales. We had about 1.5 litres of milk, about a 5% improvement in milk quality. So solids was increased in that area. And we all know that solids and the milk is worth a little bit more at the moment. But really importantly, the 6-week in calf rate across all of the cows was an improvement of around 35%. And if we just take heifers, they're around 26%, and the cows are around 43%. So that's where the money and the return on investment for the farmers are. So in some quick calculations that were done by the team down there, return on investment on those 360 cows over the year was an extra $100,000. Or a 5-to-1 return on the price of the product.
Yeah, and they're staggering numbers, Wayne. I mean, that's, pretty incredible to see that, that trial and see, it really working and being very effective. And obviously this year in the dairy industry, we do have record milk prices, and, it seems like this is the best year to be investing into more profitability, more efficiency. Farmers are businessmen, and they're getting, they're investing in technology. So it's amazing to see that Jeffo has this product range that can really help with that, So I guess what would you say to farmers that are thinking about using the product and getting them on board this year?
The simple thing, Declan, is exactly what you just said. It is an investment in the future of the dairy industry and their own herd. And they are businessmen and ladies that are looking after these farms. And so we're making an investment in the health of their herd to be able to improve that through. So simply, not every farm is the same, and we need to address that and go through. So we have a couple of great dairy specialists that are working within the team, and they would happily have a chat with any of the farmers and go through. And if I could just add that these results that we saw here were not just unique to Australia. We have matched those results in various systems throughout the world. And that between a 5 to an 8 to 1 return is what we're seeing consistently, no matter what the feeding regime, be it pasture, a PMR or a TMR style system.
And lastly, guys, look, Wayne, we know full well Jeffo has been a long-time sponsor of International Dairy Week and, of course, has that giant tent in a pretty hot position ringside each year in January. Abdullah, yourself, you have been to Dairy Week. Wayne, for you, what does it mean for Jeffo to be such a big part of the event at Dairy Week each year?
It makes you part of the dairy industry, Casey. It just means that you get a chance to see the best of the best, see the best cows coming in, and the best producers, the best dairy farmers are there trying to learn and improve their herd, their genetics, and the way that they do business in the Australian industry and the international industry, as we've seen a number of the genetics from Australia have exported after Dairy Week as well. So at a simple thing, we try and match up with what the people are coming through and trying to catch up with people that are making their dairy decisions for the year, but also trying to catch up with our friends that sometimes we don't get a chance to see for 12 months. And with the recent couple of years, it's really nice to have Dairy Week back.
Fantastic. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us on the Around the Barn podcast. We look forward to having Jeffo's involvement at IDW, and we really appreciate your support. And if you're thinking about using the Jeffo product, reach out to one of their sales staff today. Thanks very much, gentlemen.
And a special mention and thank you to Abdullah for joining us all the way from Canada. We've really appreciated your insights.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Dairy farmers, increase fertility, improve calving, increase profits. Sounds easy, doesn't it? It can be. Protected B vitamins may be the solution for your herd. Jeffo's protected blend of B vitamins for transition and lactation are both designed and blended using Jeffo's Matrix technology to deliver the B vitamins to where the cow needs them. This concept has been successfully used throughout Australia and the dairy world. Top farms like Comstar, Gillette Farm, Brindabella Holstein, and recently in a trial at the McAllister Research Farm have proven the success of the Jeffo solutions. Improve milk production, decrease health issues at calving, and improve 6-week in-calf rate are just some of the benefits you will see. Contact the Jeffo Dairy team today and build a Jeffo solution plan for your herd. The team look forward to seeing you at International Dairy Week 2023. Jeffo, life made easier.
Thanks for joining us for today's episode of Around the Barn. We hope you enjoyed hearing from each of our guests. If you like what we're talking about, make sure you hit the share button. That's all we've got time for. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.